Hey guys, it's Kayla.
And I'm Mark Allen.
And this is our channel. Here we talk about all things Disney, and today we are talking about what we learned from being annual pass holders.
So if that interests you, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. The first thing we're going to talk about are the types of annual passes that are available. Now, since we are out of state, we're only going to be really talking about the out of state passes, so we won't be talking about really the DVC passes or the Florida annual passes. So do keep that in mind. I'm sure there's tons of resources out there if you are considering any of those options. There are two types of annual passes that are available for out of state residents. The first annual pass that we're going to be talking about is the Platinum Plus Pass. And this one is $1,295. With this, there are no blackout dates, so you can really go whenever you want. And of course, you can park hop to all 4 theme parks. With this, you also get into the 2 water parks, the ESPN Wide World of Sports, and you also get into the Disney Oak Trail Golf Course.
Also included with this pass, you do get discounts on merchandise, some dining locations. Memory Maker is also included, and you do also get discounts on some other like tours and excursions, I guess you could call them.
With the Platinum Plus Pass, you also do get standard theme park parking as well.
The next type of annual pass, and this is the one that we actually have, and this is the Disney Platinum Pass. Now, basically, most of the same things that were included in the Plus are included in this. Really, the only difference is that you don't have admission to the water parks or Wide World of Sports.
Or the golf course.
Or the golf course.
Yes. The Platinum Pass costs $1,195. So in reality, it is only $100 difference between the Platinum Pass and the Platinum Plus Pass. But if you do plan on going to the water parks a couple times a year, it may be worth it to you to just go ahead and upgrade to the Platinum Plus, just because it is only $100 difference, and it will allow you to go to the water parks pretty much whenever you want. So keep in mind too that all of these prices are at the time of filming. In the past year or so, we've actually seen a couple different price increases with annual passes. So these are of course subject to change. So for the most accurate prices, definitely refer to the Disney World website.
So if you are thinking of becoming an annual pass holder, obviously the biggest thing is going to be kind of your budget with it, and whether or not spending that amount of money is actually going to be worth it for you. Now, everybody has trips that are a little bit different, and so everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. For us, the big determining factor was we were going to be going on a 2-week-long Disney trip, and when we were doing the math with like what potential hotel reservation discounts would be and food discounts and like the ticket price difference and merchandise difference and like all of that kind of stuff, we kind of realized that it would have been a better deal for us to go ahead and get that pass so that we could still have the flexibility that we like to have on our vacation, but we would be spending a little bit less.
Next, we are going to talk about the pros of buying an annual pass and being a pass holder.
Obviously, the first one is that you can park hop. Obviously, things at time of filming, things are going to be a little bit different for a while, but hopefully once things go back to normal, park hopping is definitely a huge perk of being an annual pass holder, because you don't have to worry about if you only want to go to the park for half a day and maybe go grab dinner another evening at another park, or even that same evening you can. Like you have really, really great flexibility there.
Absolutely. You know, and to mention that, we've done trips where we didn't park hop, and then we've done trips where we have park hopped. And honestly, I love park hopping because there would be certain days where for whatever reason a park would be super busy, and we were like, oh, let's just go to this other park, and it wasn't as busy. And so park hopping is a really, really nice perk.
On the flip side of that too, though, it's nice that you have the option to not park hop too, because the park hop tickets, like if you just buy the normal day tickets that are park hoppers, those are quite a bit more expensive than a base ticket, and so you almost feel like you have to park hop if you have those, whereas with an annual pass, because it really doesn't matter if you do both or neither or whatever, that is definitely a huge perk.
We talked about this a little bit earlier, and to no surprise, another big pro are the discounts.
Oh my gosh, those discounts are dangerous.
They are. This can honestly go obviously in the pro list, but it can also kind of go in the cons list. The discounts that you do get with it on not only merchandise, but some select dining experiences and excursions, different things like that, party tickets. It's a huge perk, and those savings do add up.
Yes.
And if you do plan on doing some of those things, kind of like what Kayla mentioned earlier, is that you might have to factor in some of those savings into some of that math that you do, because the savings do add up and it really can be worth it.
Because you might be doing your budget, and if you weren't adding in those discounts, there may be a certain tour or extra dining experience or something that you weren't able to do. But when you are able to factor in those discounts, that can free up some of that money that you might be able to do that extra character dining or that tour or a massage or whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And of course, one of our favorite things about being pass holders is the freebies.
Oh yeah.
I feel like this is probably something that most pass holders really love. Of course, for most of the festivals that they have, they usually have like a pass holder magnet. Of course, when you purchase your pass, they do mail you, like whenever you get like your kit with your magic band and everything, they'll send you like the pass holder magnet and stuff. So those are really fun to collect. They'll sometimes do some other fun kind of freebies with like they did like the coasters one year, and then they did like a cheese cutting board thing another year, and so they do have a lot of those. And
going right along with the freebies and kind of the exclusive items that you get for being a pass holder, you do also have the option to be able to buy annual pass holder exclusive merchandise. So that could be a number of things
like shirts or pins or hats or cups or anything. I should have worn my pass holder shirt.
And of course, another nice perk of being a pass holder is that sometimes pass holders do get exclusive previews to certain things. And I know that sounds kind of vague, but I mean, it really honestly varies when it comes to this. So for example, when Galaxy's Edge opened, there was an exclusive pass holder preview.
They've also done things in the past, like whenever new merchandise has come out, because usually over the past year or so, they've had like different colored themed merch, and then they'll do like a preview, or if you're a pass holder, you get like the first chance to go buy some of that stuff. So it's really kind of random as to what those entail, but they have done things like that in the past.
Yeah, and of course this is not always guaranteed, just because they don't always have, new lands opening or new merchandise coming out, anything like that. So do keep that in mind.
And they are very limited, and so they can be kind of hard to get into. So don't be surprised if you're not able to. And one of the last things that we want to say that's a really cool pro is that you do get Memory Maker included in your annual pass. Now, if you aren't sure what this is, I have a whole video about it, and I will link that above. But just kind of briefly to sum it up, it's their photo package, and so they have people around the parks that will take pictures, and they are linked to My Disney Experience. What's really cool about this, if you have just like a normal ticket, usually those only last for about 30 days after your trip, but with the Memory Maker, they actually, all of your pictures will stay on for the entirety of your annual pass. But it is kind of nice that it does have that for a long time, but you're able to download any of those, and you just have the freedom. You can take as many pictures as you want, and you get to download as many ride pictures as you want, and that's definitely a cool perk.
All right, now we are going to get a little controversial and talk about some cons of the annual pass.
It is expensive.
Very expensive.
So the prices that we gave you at the beginning of the video, that's for one person.
Yeah.
That's pretty steep, and you have to keep in mind that that doesn't include really anything else. Like, it's just your park tickets and like Memory Maker. So like, you still have to budget for things like your resort stay and your airfare or your travel expenses and your food and your merchandise, and like, obviously you do get savings on a lot of that stuff, but it's pretty steep. So you really have to make sure, that's where it's super important that you do the math to make sure that you are going to be saving money by getting that pass and not losing money.
Now, kind of along with that is that there are actually some hidden costs with the annual pass. And in some cases, if you're not careful, you can actually end up spending more money than what you had intended, because kind of like what we mentioned earlier, with a lot of those discounts, it's like, oh, I get 20% off of this. Let me just get that because it's 20% off. In the end, it's like that discount is there and it's kind of like enticing, and you do end up spending more money.
And that's called Disney math.
Yep.
I have a whole video about that too, which I'll link above. But it is because they know that, I mean, Disney does very, very good with their merchandising and marketing, and they know how to get you. And so it's very, very tempting to, when you have the annual pass, to justify spending more because you can.
Yep.
Even if you shouldn't.
And right along with spending more money is that you also take more trips, thus you spend more money, and it just ends up becoming more expensive.
We are example A of that.
Oh yeah.
So like I said earlier, we intended on buying our annual passes for our 2-week-long trip because we knew the math, it would make sense. So when we were doing that and we were deciding to do the annual pass, we were like, okay, cool. So we're going to go ahead and take a second trip so that way we can make sure that like we get the fullest of it. And it was just gonna be like a quick trip, and mainly that was like to activate our pass and whatnot. Well, and then later that year we were like, we could go on another trip because we get discounts. Later again, we were like, oh, well, we could go again because we get discounts. And so we ended up taking 3 trips, and 2 of those trips were not intended. And so it's kind of weird because we didn't end up going on the 2-week trip, which that's for COVID reasons. But so it did work out that we were able to take those extra trips, but if we had taken that 2-week trip, our original plan of doing it to save money would have been completely null and void because we took those extra trips and spent way more money than we would have had we just bought park tickets. So you do want to be really careful that if you are doing it to save money, that you are very strict with, these are the trips that we're going on and we're not going to take extra trips. That way you really know that you are saving money and getting the most out of it at the same time.
Don't
be like us.
I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. Just know that you're going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. We won't judge you because we've done it too. So along with that, not only is it really tempting to take more trips than you intended, but it's also really tempting to want to renew your annual pass. We're in that boat right now where it's like we're really itching to, but we're really trying not to because we want to save money and we know that we will go on too many trips and spend way too much money if we keep renewing, at least for now.
And lastly, one big con that actually it's a little bit more hidden than any of the other cons that we've talked about, and that's if there are any discounts such as free dining or anything like that that requires park tickets. Annual pass holders do not qualify for those discounts. We didn't realize that when we first became annual pass holders. We were like, oh, we can bundle these discounts, and Disney's like, nope, stop right there. Nope, you've already saved too much money.
Well, and it's one of those things too, because they do actually offer some really good discounts for rooms a lot of times. But even if you choose to not do a discount on your room, but you want to try and do free dining, you still have to purchase park tickets in order to get that. And I have heard that you can use that cost to go towards renewing your annual pass, but in my mind, that kind of defeats the purpose, I guess. So for us, it's definitely been more advantageous to just do the room discounts. But if you are somebody that you bank on that free dining every year, you're probably going to be sad when you get your annual pass and they tell you no. It's
a little bit like one of those situations where you have to spend money to save money.
Yeah.
And for us, it's just we're really not about that. And so obviously, you know, this is just personal preference. So you do whatever works best for you and your family, but for us, we just choose to go with the room discount.
So you're probably wondering, when is it actually a good idea to buy an annual pass?
The big thing is that if you know that you're taking multiple trips within 1 year, more than likely it's probably going to be worth it. Mm-hmm. But you have to keep in mind that you do really still have to do that math just to double check. Because if you're taking, say, 2-3 day trips, it may not be worth it. You really have to factor in the price of each park ticket per day for, you know, every member of your family, and see if that is actually worth it for you to become an annual pass holder.
Another good time to consider an annual pass is not only if you are taking multiple trips a year, but you are someone who really likes to stay at expensive resorts. This is where those room discounts really come in handy. Now again, those are not always guaranteed, but it is pretty often that Disney does offer annual pass discounts on room reservations. So that is definitely a big perk that would make purchasing an annual pass worth it. Along with expensive rooms, if you are somebody like us that really likes to have a lot of expensive meals, that's where that meal discount can come in handy too. Obviously, if you're on the dining plan, it probably won't matter as much, which, by the way, you can have the dining plan. You just have to call and have them add it to your reservation. When you eat those expensive meals, those discounts definitely come in handy too. Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, why do I need to get an annual pass for everyone in my family to get these discounts? Because that seems really expensive. Well, the nice thing is that really, if you want those discounts, you only have to have one person in your family to have the annual pass. Now, granted, if you do it that way, you will still have to buy park tickets for each person in your party. But for things like meals and the restaurant discounts and merch discounts and things like that, as long as you have one person in your party that has the annual pass, you do get those discounts. Same thing with Memory Maker. As long as everybody is linked to your My Disney experience, the person who has the annual pass can download all of those pictures and then share them with whoever else is in your party.
Yeah. Now, the big thing is that if you do end up doing that for your family where only one of you becomes a pass holder, that person has to be there with their annual pass and their ID to be able to get those discounts. Are we going to become pass holders again?
Probably.
Just not right now. We definitely will in the future.
Right now we have some financial goals that we are trying to reach, but once those are met, then we will definitely be back on that pass holder train.
Absolutely. What questions do you guys have for us? We know we threw a lot of numbers at you guys. We threw a lot of information about being an annual pass holder. What questions do you have for us? Leave those down in the comments below.
Or do you have any tips about being annual pass holders? Yeah. Do you have any cool secrets that we didn't mention that you want to share? Leave those down there as well. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. And if you are not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do a lot of really fun informational Disney planning trip videos, as well as a lot of other fun content. But other than that, we will see you guys next time. Now go create your Ever After.